The Galactic Council laughed at humanity. Big mistake. Part 1. First Contact. The bright morning sun shined through the window of Stephen Carter's small apartment. He rubbed his tired eyes and checked his phone. 27 missed calls. That was strange. Stephen was just a normal scientist who studied stars at the National Observatory. Nobody ever called him, especially not 27 times. Before he could check who called, his phone rang again. It was his boss, Dr. Wilson. "Stephen, where have you been? Turn on your TV right now." Stephen fumbled for the remote and flipped on the news. His coffee mug slipped from his hand and shattered on the floor. He didn't notice. On the screen was a massive ship hovering above New York City. It was unlike anything humans had ever built. It was smooth and oval-shaped with strange lights pulsing across its surface. The news reporter's voice shook as she spoke. The alien vessel appeared in orbit 6 hours ago. World leaders are meeting now to discuss first contact procedures. This is not a drill or a movie. Repeat, this is real. Stephen's phone rang again. This time it was a number he didn't recognize. "Dr. Carter, this is General Frank Harris of the United Nations Space Command. We need you in Washington immediately. A helicopter is on its way to your location." 3 hours later, Stephen sat in a large conference room at the Pentagon. Around him were military leaders, politicians, and a handful of other scientists. Across from him sat Lisa Rodriguez, a woman he recognized from international peace talks on TV. She was a diplomat who spoke 6 languages and had negotiated treaties between countries that hated each other. "Dr. Carter," she said, extending her hand. "I've read your papers on possible alien communication methods. Looks like we'll get to test your theories." A tall military man stood at the front of the room. "Ladies and gentlemen, 1 hour ago we received our first communication from the vessel. They call themselves representatives of something called the Galactic Council. They want to meet with Earth's leaders. They're sending a delegation to this building in 2 hours. The room erupted in voices. The general raised his hand for silence. "Dr. Carter and Ms. Rodriguez, you've been selected as part of the welcome team. Dr. Carter, for your knowledge of potential alien biology and communication. Ms. Rodriguez, for your diplomatic skills." Stephen felt his heart race. His whole life had been building to this moment, even if he hadn't known it. The alien delegation arrived exactly when they said they would. They came in a smaller ship that landed on the White House lawn. News cameras from around the world broadcast the moment as 3 figures emerged. They were tall and thin with skin that seemed to shift color slightly, like oil on water. They had 2 arms and 2 legs, but their heads were wider than human heads with large, dark eyes that wrapped partially around the sides. They wore flowing robes with strange symbols that seemed to move. The lead alien stepped forward and raised a small device. When it spoke, the device translated its words into English. "We are representatives of the Galactic Council, a union of 322 spacefaring species. I am High Counselor Zix Var of the Aldebaran Conclave." President Clark stepped forward. "On behalf of the people of Earth, we welcome you to our world." The aliens were taken to the conference room where Stephen, Lisa, and 20 world leaders waited. Guards stood at every door, though their weapons seemed laughably small compared to what the aliens must have. For the next 4 hours, the 2 sides talked. The aliens explained that the Galactic Council had governed the known universe for more than 20,000 years. They had been watching Earth for centuries, waiting for humans to develop certain technologies. "Now that you have achieved basics, space travel and global communication, it is time to formally catalog your species," Zix Var said. Lisa leaned forward. "Catalog?" "Yes. All intelligent species are evaluated and classified. This determines your place in the galactic order." Stephen spoke up. "What factors do you consider in this classification?" The alien made a strange sound that the translator didn't catch. It seemed like amusement. "Many things. Technology level, societal harmony, resource management, genetic potential." The aliens asked many questions about Earth's history, science, and culture. As they talked, Stephen noticed them exchanging looks that seemed dismissive. Finally, Zix Var spoke again. Based on our evaluation, we classify humanity as a level 2 civilization. What does that mean? President Clark asked. It means you are intelligent but primitive. Level 2 species are granted protected status. We will establish monitoring stations in your orbit. You will not be permitted to expand beyond your moon or develop technologies beyond certain parameters that we will provide. This is for your own protection and the safety of the galaxy. Lisa stood up, her face showing controlled anger. With all due respect, High Counselor, humanity has made incredible progress in a very short time. Our art, our science, our capacity for growth, the alien interrupted with that strange sound again. This time all three aliens made it. The translator finally caught it. Laughter. Your species is but an infant, Zixvar said. You have barely mastered your own planet, let alone understood the complexities of interstellar governance. We offer you protection and you demand equality? This is why immature species are not permitted on the Council. The meeting ended shortly after. The aliens returned to their ship, promising to return in 3 days with the full details of Earth's new protected status. As Stephen and Lisa left the Pentagon, they watched the smaller alien ship rise up to the massive mothership in orbit. They laughed at us? Stephen said quietly. They actually laughed. Lisa's eyes narrowed. They don't understand humans very well, do they? What do you mean? In all of human history, what has happened when someone more powerful comes along and tells a group of people they're inferior and will be controlled for their own good? Stephen thought for a moment. Revolution. Lisa nodded. They think they know everything about us because they've watched us. But they missed something important. What's that? Humans don't like being laughed at. And we really don't like being told what we can't do. She looked up at the massive ship visible in the daytime sky. I think the Galactic Council just made a very big mistake. In the days that followed, the aliens established orbital monitoring stations around Earth. They provided a long list of technologies that humans were forbidden from developing further, including certain types of space drives, energy systems, and weapons. World leaders argued about whether to accept these terms or fight back somehow. But in secret meetings beneath the Pentagon, Stephen, Lisa, and a small group of scientists and military leaders began forming a plan. If they're going to treat us like children, Lisa said to the group, then let's use that. Children are often underestimated, and they can surprise you with what they're capable of. Stephen looked at the data they had gathered about the alien technology. They think they know everything about human potential. Let's show them how wrong they are. The plan had a name, Project Prometheus. And as the Galactic Council went about cataloging Earth like a new exhibit in a zoo, they had no idea what humanity was about to unleash. The Galactic Council laughed at humanity. Big Mistake Part 2, The Hidden Advantage. 6 months passed since the aliens first arrived. The Galactic Council ships still hung in Earth's sky like strange new stars. Most people had gotten used to them, but not everyone was happy about the new rules. For the first time ever, all the countries on Earth worked together. They formed a new group called the Global Defense Initiative, or GDI. Stephen Carter and Lisa Rodriguez were important advisors for this new group. On the surface, Earth followed the Council's rules. Humans shut down certain research projects and stopped sending rockets beyond the moon. The aliens seemed pleased with how well humans were behaving, but deep underground in secret places something else was happening. Catherine Walsh sat in a large room carved into the rock beneath Antarctica. The room was filled with strange equipment. Some of it was human-made, but some pieces had been carefully stolen from the alien monitoring stations. Catherine was a military engineer who thought differently than most people. She had been studying the alien technology day and night. Now she was excited. Stephen, Lisa, you need to see this, she said, pointing to her computer screen. Stephen looked at the complex equations and diagrams. What am I looking at? The alien's blind spot. Catherine smiled. All the Council species evolved on planets with similar gravity. Their inner ear systems and brains developed in similar ways. But humans evolved differently. Lisa leaned closer. What does that mean for us? It means we can understand things they can't. Catherine pulled up a 3D model that spun and twisted in impossible ways. Humans can visualize spatial relationships that the council species physically cannot comprehend. Their brains aren't wired for it. This is hyperdimensional math, Stephen whispered, the foundation of faster-than-light travel. Catherine nodded. And the best part? Their sensors can't detect technology based on these principles. It's literally invisible to them. In another secret facility beneath the Himalayan mountains, Alan Patel was making his own discovery. He had spent months studying recordings of the council aliens talking to each other. They have no concept of bluffing, he told Lisa when she visited. Their species never evolved to deceive each other the way humans did. They don't understand poker faces or lying for advantage. That's useful, Lisa said. What else? They take everything literally. They can't grasp metaphors very well. And they don't understand why humans would do things just to prove they can. Alan showed her his research. These are all weaknesses we can use. Over the next 2 years, Project Prometheus grew. In hidden factories deep under the ocean and inside hollow mountains, humans built new kinds of ships. These ships didn't use normal engines or metal. They were made with materials and technology that worked on principles the aliens couldn't detect. One day, Stephen stood with General Frank Harris in a massive underground hangar. Before them was a fleet of strange-looking ships. They didn't shine like metal. Instead, they seemed to bend the light around them, making them hard to focus. On how many do we have now? Stephen asked. 57 ships ready to fly, the general said. Another 100 in production. We call them ghosts because to the council's sensors they either don't exist or look like space junk or asteroids. And the weapon systems? We don't call them weapons, the general corrected. They're dimensional displacement devices. They don't destroy targets. They simply move them somewhere else. Where? Stephen asked. A pocket dimension Catherine created. Time runs differently there. We can keep the aliens in stasis until we decide what to do with them. Lisa joined them, her face serious. We may need those ships sooner than we thought. The council is getting suspicious. How do you know? Stephen asked. I was at a meeting with their representatives yesterday. They're wondering why humans seem so happy with their restrictions. They expected more resistance, the general laughed. They really don't understand humans at all, do they? We're smiling to their faces while planning behind their backs. There's more, Lisa said. Some of the council members, especially the Draxians, are pushing to reclassify Earth as a resource planet rather than a protected world. What does that mean? Stephen asked. It means they could start mining our planet and harvesting our oceans without asking permission. They see Earth as too valuable to leave alone. When will they decide? The general asked. The full council votes next month, but the Draxians are impatient. They might move before then. Catherine joined them, carrying a small device that pulsed with a soft blue light. Then we need to speed up our plans. The dimensional drive is ready for testing. Will it work? Stephen asked. In theory, yes. It should allow our ships to travel instantly between any 2 points in space without going through the space in between. No warp bubble, no hyperspace, just here then there. The council thinks such technology is impossible, Lisa said. Catherine smiled. For them, it is impossible. Their brains can't even process the math behind it. But for humans, it's just very, very hard. 3 weeks later, the decision was made for them. Early one morning, Stephen was woken by an emergency call. Get to headquarters now. Lisa's voice was tight with worry. The Draxians have entered Earth's atmosphere. They're setting up mining operations in the Pacific Ocean. By the time Stephen arrived at the GDI command center, chaos had erupted. Screens showed massive alien ships hovering over the ocean. Huge tubes extended down into the water, pulling up enormous amounts of material. They're taking rare metals from the seabed, Catherine explained. And they don't care what else they destroy in the process. Thousands of people in coastal areas are already dead from giant waves caused by their operations, the general added. Millions more are in danger. What about the council? Stephen asked. Can't they stop this? Lisa shook her head. I just spoke with High Counselor Zix Var. The Council officially condemns the Draxian action but won't stop it. They consider it an internal matter between a Level 5 civilization and a protected Level 2 world. They said it's regrettable, but within acceptable parameters, Alan added, his voice filled with disgust. The general looked at them all. Well, is Project Prometheus ready or not? Catherine nodded slowly. The ships are ready. The crews are trained, but we've never tested them in combat. We don't have a choice anymore, Lisa said. If we do nothing, the Draxians will strip mine our oceans and kill millions of people. Stephen looked at the screens showing the Draxian ships. Time to show the Galactic Council exactly what they've been laughing at. The Galactic Council laughed at humanity. Big mistake. Part 3. The provocation. Ryan Blackwood stood in the command center of Project Prometheus. As the newly elected director of the Global Defense Initiative, all eyes were on him. Before joining the GDI, Ryan had been a Navy SEAL, one of the toughest soldiers on Earth. Now he faced the hardest decision of his life. On the screens around him, the Draxian mining ships continued to tear apart Earth's oceans. The death toll had reached 10,000. Millions more would die if the aliens continued. We can't wait any longer, Ryan said. Launch Operation Shadow Strike. Lisa Rodriguez looked worried. The Council is watching. If we reveal all our technology at once, we lose the element of surprise. I have a plan, said Ryan. We'll make this look like a desperate last stand using conventional weapons. Meanwhile, our ghost fleet will strike from the shadows. The plan went into action immediately. Earth's regular military forces, jets, ships, and missiles, launched attacks against the Draxian mining fleet. It was a brave show of resistance. It was also completely ineffective. The Draxian ships easily destroyed the human weapons. Their energy shields blocked missiles. Their laser weapons cut through jets like they were paper. The human attacks did nothing except make the Draxians laugh. Pathetic, the Draxian commander said over an open channel. Is this the best Earth can offer? But while the visible battle raged, Catherine Walsh activated the Ghost Fleet. 57 ships, invisible to Draxian sensors, moved into position. Each was piloted by a human crew specially trained to think in ways the aliens couldn't understand. All ships report ready, Catherine said. Ryan nodded. Begin Phase 2. The ghost ships activated their dimensional displacement devices. These weapons didn't fire lasers or missiles. They created invisible fields that gently pushed objects into another dimension, a pocket of space-time that Catherine had created. To observers, the effect was striking. One by one, Draxian ships simply vanished. No explosions, no debris. Just there one moment, gone the next. Panic spread through the Draxian fleet. Their sensors showed nothing. Their weapons fired at empty air. They had no idea what was happening, or how to fight back. In the Project Prometheus command center, Stephen watched with a mixture of awe and fear. Are we killing them? He asked quietly. Catherine shook her head. No. They're suspended in the pocket dimension. Time passes very slowly there. For them, only seconds will pass while years go by out here. We can bring them back whenever we want. Within an hour, 57 Draxian ships had vanished, along with over 12,000 Draxian crew members. The remaining Draxian vessels began to retreat in panic. Send the message, Ryan ordered. A simple text message was transmitted to the remaining Draxian ships. Leave now. No further warning will be given. The Draxians fled Earth's atmosphere at maximum speed. News of the incident spread quickly through the galaxy. The Galactic Council was thrown into chaos. How could a Level 2 civilization defeat a Level 5 fleet? It should have been impossible. 3 days later, Lisa received a message from High Counselor Zix Var. The Council demands an explanation for the disappearance of the Draxian ships, the message said. I am coming personally to investigate this matter. If Earth has developed forbidden technologies, severe penalties will be imposed. Lisa looked at Stephen and Ryan. They still don't get it, do they? They can't, Stephen said. Their brains literally cannot comprehend what we've done. It's outside their evolutionary experience. So what do we do now? Ryan asked. We show them enough to make them respect us, Lisa said. But not everything. Not yet. 1 week later, a massive council ship entered Earth's atmosphere. It was 3 times larger than any Draxian vessel and surrounded by 20 smaller ships. High Counselor Zixvar had brought an armada to investigate. The council delegation met with Earth's leaders in the United Nations building in New York. Zixvar looked less confident than during the first contact. The alien's color shifting, skin seemed paler. Explain how you defeated the Draxian mining fleet, Zixvar demanded. Lisa stepped forward. First, tell us why you allowed them to attack our planet and kill thousands of our people. The Council regrets the loss of human life, Zixvar said. But the Draxians were within their rights to claim resources from a Level 2 world. It is how the galactic economy has functioned for 20,000 years. And that's the problem, Lisa said. You classified us, cataloged us, and contained us without ever truly understanding us. You laughed at our potential because it didn't fit your models. That was your first mistake. Stephen stepped up beside her with a small device in his hand. Human brains evolve differently than council species. We can conceptualize spatial relationships in ways you physically cannot. He activated the device. A hologram appeared, showing mathematical equations and models that twisted in impossible ways. Zixvar's eyes widened. Several other council members made distressed noises. One physically turned away from the hologram as if in pain. This is impossible, Zixvar whispered. These principles violate known physics. No, Catherine said, joining them. They violate your understanding of physics. To humans, these concepts are difficult but comprehensible. We call it dimensional manipulation. Where are the Draxian ships? Zixvar demanded. Ryan smiled. Would you like to see? He pressed a button. In the sky above New York, a hole seemed to open in empty air. One Draxian ship emerged, perfectly intact. It hovered for a moment, then the hole closed again, leaving just the one ship. The other 56 ships and their crews are safe, Ryan said. They exist in a space between spaces that we created. We can return them whenever we choose. Zixvar's skin shifted rapidly between colors, a sign of extreme distress, Stephen had learned. This technology is dangerous, the High Counselor said. It could destabilize the entire galactic order. Only if you force us to use it, Lisa said. Earth demands a new arrangement. We will not be classified as Level 2. We will not be restricted. We will join the galactic community as equals, or we will defend ourselves. The Council must discuss this, Zixvar said. This changes everything. As the Council delegation returned to their ships, Catherine turned to her friends. They still don't realize what we're really capable of, do they? She asked. No, Stephen said. And that's good, because we're just getting started. The Galactic Council laughed at humanity. Big Mistake Part 4. The reckoning news of what happened at Earth spread quickly through the galaxy. The disappearance of 57 Draxian ships shocked everyone. How could a primitive Level 2 civilization defeat one of the most powerful species in the Council? The Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. For the first time in thousands of years, all 300 member species sent representatives to the Central Council chamber on the neutral planet Axiom Prime. High Counselor Zixvar stood before them, looking troubled. I have witnessed disturbing developments on Earth. The humans have somehow developed technology that should be impossible for their level of advancement. How is this possible? Asked the representative from the Maclarian Confederation. Did another council species give them restricted technology? No, Zixvar said. They developed it themselves. They call it dimensional manipulation. It appears to operate on principles that... The High Counselor paused, seeming to struggle for words. Principles that many of us cannot fully comprehend. Whispers and clicks of alarm spread through the chamber. Then they must be contained immediately, shouted the Draxian ambassador, his spiny crest flaring with anger. They have taken our ships and our people. This cannot stand. On Earth, Olivia Martinez watched the council meeting through a special device. Olivia was a spy, trained by Alan Patel to understand alien behavior. She had spent the last year disguised as a service worker on Axiom Prime, placing tiny surveillance devices throughout the council buildings. Now she sat in a hidden room beneath the GDI headquarters, watching the most powerful beings in the galaxy argue about humanity. They're afraid, she told Stephen and Lisa when they joined her. Really afraid? Good, Lisa said. Fear can lead to respect. But it can also lead to extreme measures, Stephen warned. If they decide we're too dangerous, they might unite against us. On the screen, the arguments continued. Some council members called for immediate military action to neutralize the human threat. Others suggested diplomacy, offering humanity advanced technology in exchange for giving up their dimensional research. A few smaller species, ones that had also faced council prejudice, spoke in favor of reclassifying humans and integrating them into the galactic community. As they watched, Olivia's eyes widened. Wait, what's happening there? She zoomed in on a side conversation between the Draxian ambassador and representatives from 3 other powerful species. They were sharing a data crystal that they clearly didn't want others to see. Olivia adjusted the surveillance device to capture what was on the crystal. Images appeared on her screen. Secret communications showing how certain council factions had been deliberately suppressing emerging civilizations for centuries. This isn't about protection, Olivia whispered. It's about control. They've been keeping other species down to maintain their power and resource monopolies. Stephen looked shocked. Can you download that data? Olivia nodded. Already doing it. 2 days later, the council sent a formal message to Earth. They would send their largest enforcement fleet to contain the human situation. The fleet would arrive in 3 days. Ryan Blackwood called an emergency meeting of the GDI leadership. We knew this might happen, he said. The question is, how do we respond? We need to show them we're not a threat, Stephen suggested. Unless they threaten us first. And we need to expose what Olivia discovered, Lisa added. The galaxy should know the truth about what the council has been doing. Catherine Walsh smiled. I have an idea that might accomplish both goals. When the council enforcement fleet arrived in Earth's orbit, they found something unexpected. No resistance at all. Instead, they received a polite invitation for their leaders to attend a meeting at the United Nations. Suspicious but curious, Zix Var and 20 other high-ranking council officials took a shuttle down to Earth. They were escorted into the General Assembly Hall, where representatives from every human nation waited. Lisa stepped forward to greet them. Welcome back to Earth. We've prepared a special presentation for you. Before Zix Var could respond, the lights dimmed. Catherine activated a device in the center of the room. A holographic display appeared, but it was unlike anything the council members had seen before. It showed a complete model of the galaxy, but with new information overlaid on it, the true relationship between council policies and the development of younger species. The data Olivia had stolen was integrated into the display, showing centuries of deliberate suppression. This is what you've been hiding, Lisa said calmly. Not protecting younger species, but preventing competition, keeping resources for yourselves, creating an artificial hierarchy to maintain power. The council members looked at each other in alarm. Some seemed genuinely shocked. Apparently not all of them had known the truth. This is internal council information, Zix Var protested. How did you access this? That's not the important question, Ryan said, stepping forward. The important question is, what happens next? Stephen joined them, carrying a small device. We have a choice to make together, war or peace. If you choose war, know that we've placed dimensional displacement devices throughout your fleet. We could send your entire armada into the pocket dimension with one command. He pressed a button. On his device, outside one of the council's largest ships vanished, then reappeared 10 seconds later in a different position. Or, Lisa continued, we can choose a different path. Earth joins the council as an equal member, The truth about council suppression policies is shared with all species, and together we create a more just galactic order. Zixvar's skin shifted through several colors before settling on a deep blue. You ask for much. We ask for fairness, Lisa replied, and we offer something in return. Human dimensional technology could benefit all species if used wisely and shared equally. A younger council member from a species called the Lorians moved forward. I believe the humans are right. Our council has lost its way. We were meant to guide, not control. More council members nodded in agreement. Even a few of the older, more powerful species seemed to be reconsidering their positions. Zixvar looked around the room, at the council members and the humans. This will require extensive discussions. Yes, Lisa said, but there'll be discussions, between equals. As the meeting continued, Stephen stepped outside for a moment. He looked up at the night sky, at the stars that humans had dreamed of reaching for thousands of years. They laughed at us, he said quietly to himself. They won't be laughing anymore. The Galactic Council laughed at humanity. Big Mistake Part 5. The New Order. 10 years passed since the day the Galactic Council arrived on Earth. Much had changed in that time. The stars no longer seemed distant and unreachable. Humans now traveled freely among them. Stephen Carter stood on the observation deck of the Earth Embassy on Axiom Prime. The central planet of the Galactic Council looked different now. New buildings stood beside ancient structures. Different species walked together in the streets below. Thinking deep thoughts? Lisa Rodriguez asked as she joined him. Stephen smiled, just remembering how it all started, how they laughed at us. No one is laughing now, Lisa said. She was right. In the 10 years since the confrontation, Earth had transformed galactic politics. Humans had not only secured their independence, but also formed something new, the Alliance of Emerging Civilizations. 7 other young species who had been restricted by council decree now worked together with humans. Lisa herself had risen to a position no one could have imagined. She now served as the first human High Counselor, one of the 12 beings who guided the policies of the reformed Galactic Council. The new treaty with the Draxians is being signed today, Lisa said. That's the last of the old power blocks to accept the new system. In the years since the crisis, all 57 Draxian ships and their crews had been returned safely from the pocket dimension. The Draxians had been shocked to discover that while only minutes passed for them, years had gone by outside. This demonstration of both human power and mercy had earned reluctant respect. Catherine Walsh had become the most famous human in the galaxy. Her dimensional technologies had changed everything from transportation to medicine. Ships now moved between stars in seconds instead of years. Diseases could be treated by shifting damaged cells into temporary pocket dimensions, where they could be repaired. Catherine's giving a lecture at the Galactic Science Academy today, Stephen told Lisa. She's teaching council species how to understand dimensional math. Can they learn it? Lisa asked. She knew the biological limitations that had given humans their advantage. Some of the younger species can grasp the basic, Stephen explained, and Catherine developed new ways to visualize the concepts that help bridge the gap. The Lorians are particularly good at it. Stephen now led the Galactic Scientific Exchange, where different species worked together by sharing their unique strengths. Some could see spectrums of light humans couldn't perceive. Others could process certain types of information faster than human brains. Together, they accomplished more than any single species could alone. And how is Ryan's project going? Lisa asked. Ryan Blackwood had recently retired as Earth Security Director. His final project had been controversial, a museum displaying the technologies that had allowed humanity to defend itself. Some thought it revealed too many secrets, but Ryan believed in transparency. The Museum of First Contact opens next month, Stephen said. It includes recordings of that first meeting when they laughed at us. Ryan thinks it's important that no one forgets how close we came to being treated as pets or resources. A soft chime sounded, and Lisa checked her communication device. The council session is starting. We should go, They walked together through the grand hallways of the council complex. Unlike 10 years ago, the doors to every chamber stood open. Transparency had become one of the core principles of the Reformed Council. In the main chamber, representatives from all council species gathered. The huge circular room could hold thousands. At the center stood the council table, where the high councilors met. Lisa took her place at the table. As she sat down, she noticed Zixvar watching her. The former high councilor now served in an advisory role. The years had mellowed the aliens' attitude toward humans. The session began with reports from different sectors of the galaxy. New species had been discovered beyond the former council territories. New challenges required cooperation. The work never ended. During a break, Zixvar approached Lisa and Steven. The alien's skin shifted to a respectful shade of deep purple. "Hi, Councilor Rodriguez," Zixvar said formally. "Dr. Carter, I have been reflecting on our first meeting many years ago." "What about it?" Steven asked. "We have governed the stars for 20,000 years, Zixvar said. We believed we had cataloged all possible forms of intelligence and advancement. In our arrogance, we categorized humanity before understanding you. When we laughed at your potential, we revealed not your limitations but our own." The former High Counselor bowed slightly and moved away, leaving Lisa and Steven surprised by the admission. Later that evening, a celebration was held to mark 10 years since the reformation of the Council. Representatives from all species gathered in the Grand Hall of Unity, a building that hadn't existed before humans joined the galactic community. Ryan Blackwood attended the celebration as a special guest. Though retired, his influence remained strong. Many younger species looked to humans as an example of how to stand up for themselves while still working with others. "Quite a change from being classified as level 2, isn't it?" Ryan said, as he joined Steven and Lisa on a balcony overlooking the city. "I still remember how they thought we were just another species to file away in their database," Steven said. Ryan smiled. "Turns out we were the system update they never saw coming." As they laughed together, a young aide approached with an urgent message. Lisa read it quickly, her expression growing serious. "What is it?" Steven asked. "The explorers we sent beyond the former council territories have made contact with a new civilization," Lisa said. "One with technological capabilities that defy even our understanding." "Are they friendly?" Ryan asked. "Unknown," Lisa replied. "But they're asking to meet with representatives from Earth specifically. They say they've been watching us for some time." Steven looked up at the night sky, where countless stars twinkled with possibility and challenge. "Well," he said with a smile, "I hope they don't make the mistake of laughing at us."